clip circulating, she then throws it down. "Here, keep an eye on Caitlin's shoulders." She said something like, "Ah." Then, when Howard leaves for work and misses the layup, she starts to tie her shoes. It's kind of strange that Caitlin Clark got involved with Asha Harris. Caitlin Clark is driving down the lane when she openly collides with her. The chemistry between Caitlin Clark and Natasha Howard is beginning to be questioned. She is intentionally doing this. Caitlin Clark and Natasha Howard dislike playing together. The fans can't stop watching the clip, which is everywhere. Speaking. After passing the ball and tying her shoe in mid-play, Caitlin Clark sees Natasha Howard freeze her out once more. Because of what just transpired, if you think Caitlin deserves better, please leave a 100% in the comments section immediately. Clearly, Caitlin Clark is to blame. Why is the WNBA being watched by everyone? All of these fans are watching because of her. Con this crew, no one sets screens. Caitlin Clark is in charge. Con Sanoka. It all began with a single incident that blazed on social media. My dame Caitlin Clark fixing her shoelace nonchalantly. And that's Caitlin Clark here. In the midst of the basketball game, she physically gets down and ties her shoe. Fans have been discussing this play lately. However, this was not merely a standard change. There was a message. Clark had handed the ball to Natasha Howard a few seconds before and realized right away that it wouldn't return. She would have taken a step back when Natasha Howard looked away from Caitlin Clark, picked up the ball and threw it to her around 2 seconds ago. Rather than remaining in place, or she knelt down and began tying her shoe while calling for the ball, which was captured on camera. The fans went crazy. "Yeah," Caitlin concludes, "I'm just going to go tie my shoelace." In addition, Caitlin Clark is being refused right now while tying her shoelace. She then throws it down. "Here, keep an eye on Caitlin's shoulders." She sort of said, "Ah." Then, when Howard leaves for work and misses the layup, she starts to tie her shoes. During the game, Caitlin Clark had an incident when she knotted her shoe. And fans are undoubtedly going crazy over it, since this wasn't the first time and most definitely wasn't an accident. Gray was unsure of what to do when Cease was lacing her shoe. Howard went directly to the rim, ignoring Clark, failed to make the layup. Caitlin's body language spoke for itself. A gaze, a slight shrug, total emotional distance. The play was not pursued by her. There was no reason for her to even attempt to open up. However, Natasha Howard was literally handed the ball by Caitlin Clark, knew she wouldn't be able to retrieve it, and you know something's wrong when your point guard freezes out like that. And that's not all. In that same game, there were several tapes that showed Howard constantly ignoring her, walking the ball up the floor, declining to run the fast break and holding on to possessions, her hands and adjusting the game's tempo to suit hers. Weeks of stress were condensed into a few seconds when Caitlin tied her shoe. "We have body language specialists here, but I don't care," Natasha Howard says, as she glances off Caitlin Clark and Caitlin Clark. "If you get looked off, doesn't matter to me. By the way, you're there shrugging if you're being looked at and you're trying to pick up the pace." Caitlin Clark is there, shrugging her shoulders and asking, "What the hell?" It was more than a meme. There was a message. Is this fixable, or is something deeper going on inside the fever? Is the question that fans are now posing. In games, she's ignoring her. When she notices the girl driving down the road, she purposefully. The viral video wasn't an isolated incident. It was simply the most evident illustration of what observers and fans have been observing for weeks. Caitlin Clark is constantly frozen out by Natasha Howard. The similar pattern is seen in several plays. Caitlin is in a state of flux. She is depriving Caitlin Clark of something. Caitlin is being deprived by her. The speed is being diminished. By her, 26. Caitlin Clark is waiting on the outlet right now. Natasha Howard dismisses her and gestures toward the outlet. And without hesitation, Howard dismisses her. The ball never reaches her, even when Clark has the hot hand or is ready to. shoot after exiting screens. Rather, Howard forces low-percentage shots, slows down the game, and dribbles into traffic, again and again. In one match, Caitlin lost in the first half, 25 points. She was preparing food. What followed? She was wide open at the three-point line, but Howard disregarded her. Natasha Howard blocked Caitlin Clark's three-pointers after she scored 25 points in the first half. A league record 4.5 points might have been set by that possession. Instead, Caitlin was left speechless. Howard's isolated play was the only one without a pass or recognition. She is regarded as an afterthought, even when Clark is in rhythm. Even before she touches the ball, possessions perish. She's raising the issue. After giving Kane a quick glance, she simply keeps bringing it up. Ultimately reaches her, but she raises the issue. It's also obvious that she knows it won't return when she does give it up. Caitlin was aware that she wouldn't see the ball once more. So should Gray. It was clear to Caitlin that she would never again see the ball. So should Gray fans continually bringing up the shoe-tying incident because of this? There was silence. It was shrewd and it was honest. Clark's teammates are excluding her. It's not just Howard either. Alia Boston, who is expected to be a member of the franchise corps, has also been observed grabbing rebounds and ignoring Caitlin Wright immediately, declining to initiate the take a break from her. Clark is rarely given the opportunity to take charge of the offensive as she is naturally inclined to do. To be clear, this is more than just failed passes, even though he is the team's best playmaker. This has to do with power, control, and team dynamics. And the statistics support that in terms of unassisted field goals. Clark leads the league. There is no one paying to see Natasha Howard. To view Natasha Howard, no one is spending money. All I can say is that no one is spending money on look at her. Since no one is assisting her in doing what she does best, she is compelled to create everything herself. Shoot, assist, and switch games. Natasha Howard likely to toss it, in your opinion, dismisses her. And there are 10 seconds remaining. For the time being, she wants the ball to be dribbled up the floor. There is more to this situation involving Caitlin Clark and Natasha Howard than just basketball. Cracks are visible across the court as a result of a power struggle in the locker room. Let's begin at the source. Natasha Howard came to Indiana for more than just a part. She entered with the intention of winning MVP. She should have told us when she stated, "Oh, well, I would like to be MVP." We ought to have was aware that she was an op. Before the season even began, she publicly stated it. And for a franchise that recently selected the WNBA's most anticipated rookie, that kind of thinking instantly raised eyebrows. It was evident right away that Howard didn't see Caitlin as the spokesperson for the franchise. She believed that she needed to be brought back to reality. This isn't Iowa anymore, and she doesn't have to do it all here, Howard said on podcasts. Caitlin was essentially used as a roll dash player. It was Caitlin's responsibility to transfer the ball to his point guard so they could play their system. Those seem like veteran advice on paper. The actuality, however, seemed differently on the floor. Howard dominated the possessions. Caitlin refused to let Clark control the game and disregarded the offense slowing down. Clark flawlessly exits. A screen in one clip, hands up and prepared to shoot. This is a classic opportunity. However, Howard puts her head down and drives rather than feeding her into traffic. Sasha Howard stated that she wanted to win MVP. That's when I realized she was going to cause trouble. Caitlin raises her arms, clearly frustrated. She was aware that the ball will never be held again. And it's more profound. Fans and analysts have noted Howard's persistent reluctance to run the offense through Clark. Even during transitions and when Clark calls for it, it goes beyond bad chemistry. It's intentional. The distance falls apart. Driving lanes are clogged. By Howard, there's even film showing her obstructing Caitlin's route in the middle of the drive, thereby ending the play. Caitlin Clark is driving down the lane when she openly collides with her. That is not basketball intelligence. That is an example of ego. Furthermore, the stress isn't only apparent behind the scenes. People are talking about it. The locker room is reportedly broken. Dana Bonner and other deceased veterans continue to inspire loyalty among some players. Others are torn between following the established veterans or the rookie sensation. However, the outcomes are evident. This team isn't cohesive. She doesn't necessarily want Caitlin to feel overburdened. She truly has a strong squad with supportive comrades at her side. There has been corruption in the locker room. I hear Natasha Howard is flagrantly disregarding, ignoring, and averting her gaze. The league's top point guard. The frustration is exploding. Caitlin's nonverbal cues have evolved. The huddle was interrupted by her body language, which seemed to be lacking. She used to be involved in every possession and clap for teammates. Now, silence, shrugs. The shoelace that went viral, it wasn't just trolling at the time. The declaration was made quietly. You won't include me in this? I'm not trying to catch the ball. What hurts the most is this. Fever plays better when Natasha Howard is seated. The offense is a natural progression. Caitlin accelerates the pace. The shooters open up. There's real motion. It's not just the ball. That dies. Indeed, some of the Fever's most prosperous periods, Caitlin spearheaded the charge this season, with Howard sitting on the sideline. Although she is the Michael Jordan Smiths, she also has a lot of Michael Jordan's ego. The coaching staff hasn't changed, though, for some reason. There is no responsibility and no obvious hierarchy. Caitlin is not the foundation of this team, as the season is just getting started. At the beginning of the season, Dana Bonner was the focal point. Dana Bonner is no longer with us. Can you guess who it is now built around? Howard Natasha. And the issue is that, just irritated slightly. Caitlin Clark should raise the issue. Every successful team follows a set of rules. The remainder follow the lead of the stars. However, in Indiana, a seasoned player is attempting to take over while keeping out the one person who has the power to make all the difference. You already realized what we were doing, don't you? You should fit in wherever you are. It's more than just poor basketball, it's poor leadership. Additionally, the Fever will continue to do poorly until the front office takes something to address the issue. Without a doubt, Caitlin Clark possesses the ability to improve this club. Our top player is being looked down upon by you. You had the option to remain in your current location. However, she cannot succeed if her own teammate pushes her to the sidelines. In certain possessions, I do want them to figure out how to get Caitlin Clark to return the ball. She occasionally gets a wide-open shot after coming off the handoff. It wasn't a coincidence what we just saw. After weeks of anxiety, it reached a boiling point. The future of this lies with Caitlin Clark. Franchise. She is, nevertheless, being handled like a fictional character, undermined, disregarded, and frozen out. Her leadership, vision, range, and special skill set should be the foundation of this team. Instead, uncertainty and ego are obstructing winning in the game of basketball. Fans have also stopped being silent, 'cause this is the reality. The Fever rises when Caitlin takes the lead. Everything falls into place when she is given the freedom to lead the offense. Additionally, if that implies difficult adjustments in the future, then so be it. Keeping sentiments safe is not the aim. The goal is to create a culture of championship. Therefore, if you agree with Caitlin, perceive the true situation. And think that this team can only succeed if it stops getting in the way of itself, then speak up, because this will make a big difference. Love from the entire family to the athletes for this. Days X All-Star Game on X.